This is an intersection of two worlds that we've been covering extensively recently in the form of Team Ninja with their resurrection of the Ninja Gaiden franchise with the overwhelming success of the release of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. And of course, you got Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out this year, and it looks like everything is on track to being fantastic over there. They've also got a PC port of a former PS5 exclusive with Rise of the Ronin coming out, within about a month or so. And then on the other side of this, we got Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed Shadows, and well, it's going to be a little bit different than what we're normally talking about Assassin's Creed over here, but it's going to be just as equally hilarious because now you got Team Ninja inadvertently, because I think that this was probably all done in good faith and stuff like that, but they know they have a banger on their hands. For the few people that did play Rise of Ronin on PS5, they had generally good things to say about it, as it's following along in that same trademark style of a good feudal Japanese feudalistic Japanese setting with a titular character that is let me get this straight, a Japanese man. Okay, they decided to put that out last year, and then they're going to compare and contrast that with, well, Assassin's Creed Shadows. There's no better way I could put it, really. Okay. And it'll be funny to see, because we've seen the overwhelming success of Ghost of Tsushima coming out and getting its PC port last year and being one of the best performing games of the year for a game that was already 4 years old when it got its PC port. But how's Rise of the Ronin going to do? Because I'm pretty sure that one just came out last year. I'm pretty sure it just did. But Team Ninja, challenging Ubisoft to a feudal Japanese duel, announces Rise of the Ronin will have PC just days before Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh God, that's got to take whatever wind, okay? Just the little blowing of a breeze by the development team into the sails of Shadows, because, bro, it was already fighting an uphill battle. Like, nobody's rooting for this game at this point in time. I don't think it has any fans at all. And this right here, I mean, you're putting out one of the better reviewed games of last year against it. That's tough. That's super tough. And yet another unfortunate development for Ubisoft's last hope for survival. Team Ninja has confirmed that the PC port to their previously Sony exclusive feudal Japanese set open world samurai game Rise of the Ronin will officially release just days ahead of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yo, that's tough. I'd almost feel bad for Ubisoft if this wasn't a failure of their own making. Whereas Assassin's Creed Shadows is jam-packed with questionable design choices. Well, that's a nice way of putting it. And a lack of historical accuracy regarding its historical setting. Rise of the Ronin presents a much more authentic feudal Japanese era take on the action-adventure formula, taking place in the mid-1800s. So yeah, it's a little bit newer, or at least a little bit more recent in the timeline, right? Because Nobunaga was, 1600? So yeah, this is mid-1800s, during the last days of Japan's then isolationist foreign policy. Rise of the Ronin sees players making up one half of the so-called Blade Twins, a pair of highly skilled sibling warriors who has dedicated themselves to overthrowing the ruling Tokugawa shogunate after their parents were murdered by the government's hands. Yo, see, that seems cool as hell. And you take a look at the protagonist that you have right there, and well, I mean, it makes me more excited to play that game. I'll just go ahead and say that right there. However, after a mission to assassinate the historical Matthew Perry, I beg your pardon, I think an overdose took care of the... different Matthew Perry results in the death of their brother/sister, depending on which gender they choose to play as. The surviving Blade Twin dedicates themselves to a Ronin way, going on to become essentially a sword for hire during the period and the country is engulfed in political strife and a new stream of visitors from the West. So yeah, if Ubisoft wanted to do the whole mud diversity stuff is super important to the stories that we're telling, you could have set your game during this time and told a similar type of story. Yeah, having influential people coming in, trying to stake their claim to Japan during their failing isolationist policies. Like, see, you could have worked it in that way, but nope. Yasuke's black, he's a samurai, you got to deal with it. And it's like, well, it looks like the audience won't be. In doing so, players will not only make their blade available to a number of different factions, which is a decision one makes regarding who they do or do not choose to help, ultimately affecting which of the game's multiple endings they receive, but engage in stealthy combat systems that's reminiscent of older Assassin's Creed games. Oh my god, okay. With just a hint of Souls-like in the form of key gauge and stagger causing parry dodge system. You're starting to sell me on this game, honestly. You got early Assassin's Creed stealth mechanics, which I love those early Assassin's Creed games. Like, for as much smoke as Ubisoft justifiably gets, like Assassin's Creed 1 and the Ezio stuff, like, that was all fantastic, man. Ubisoft used to be able to do stealth. Jesus. Anyways. Upon release, Rise of the Ronin received widespread praise from both critics and players, especially in regards to its depiction of mid-18th century Japan, depth of combat, and overall story. Yeah, I heard great things of it. Like, it came out after the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I was just, still am to this very day, immersed in that and just about everything else. It just kind of fails in comparison. Yeah, that might be fun, I'll get around to it at a certain point in time, but, I'll get around to it. But yeah, I heard good things about Rise of the Ronin, but because it was a PS5 exclusive, it just kind of faded into obscurity. Okay, so hopefully it does get a justifiable second wind this time around on PC. And though the game also received its fair share of criticism, particularly concerning the lackluster and empty feeling of the open world design, which in fairness many titles struggle with nowadays. Yeah, hey, it's open world. Well, what makes it so special about being open world? You can go places. Cool. It is nevertheless a massive success, going on to become the best-selling title ever released by publisher Koei Tecmo. Really? Holy shit, okay. But while Rise of the Ronin has managed to endear itself to players, the same cannot be said for Assassin's Creed Shadows. No, you don't say. The upcoming next entry in the franchise has long since diluted its everything to make it a unique in flavor or of tired open-world RPG mechanics. Shadows has been mired in controversy since the day it was announced. Well, actually, before that, when it was still Assassin's Creed codename Red, or Assassin's Creed Red, I think was the codename. And it was, hey, it's going to be Japanese. It's going to be feudal Japanese. You're finally going to be a samurai. You're going to be a ninja. Oh, right. You're going to be the female shinobi. And, yeah, about that samurai, I got news for you. But yes, and thanks to Ubisoft, just, oh my god, not being able to keep their narrative straight over this past year. It's been wild covering all of this stuff, and to think that we are, just about a month removed from its ultimate release. It's wild that there's going to be one more hurdle ahead of this, but even putting aside the entire controversy surrounding the game's deuterogonists, Yasuke, Shadows is a buffet of Japanese historical and cultural blunder after another, with news such as watermelons, a summer fruit, being sold at the same time of blooming cherry blossoms, a spring event. Yeah, but hey, you can cut down bamboo like a motherfucker. Even after Ubisoft delayed the game twice, among other things, supposedly to double check their work with local scholars. Though, yeah, exactly, double check their work, or perhaps reduce the role of Yasuke, or potentially, polish it so it's not quite the turd that the Ubisoft most recently released with the Star Wars Outlaws, which forced them back onto Steam. But Outlaws, well, it didn't exactly perform all that well on Steam. And then also rumors of a buyout that's on the horizon. Like, Ubisoft is cooked. Okay, like, there's no two ways about this. But combine these narrative issues with the overall gameplay system that, feels 10 years out of date, and it becomes clear to the fans' apprehension towards Shadows. Like, we've seen gameplay at this point in time. We've also seen recycled assets, just letting you know just how slapdash and sloppy this production looks, and it's just like, there's no reason to get excited for Shadows outside of just to see what kind of a trash fire it's going to be. I guess if you like to engage in Schadenfreude in the gaming space, like, it's probably prime for that, but I wouldn't even get my hopes up for something as bad as like the Veilguard or Outlaws even. Like, it's just probably just gonna be slop, like really shit slop. Yeah, which is even being felt by more casual players, poses a serious danger to both the game's success and Ubisoft's future existence. Exactly. And as far, and as if Shadow's words, okay, didn't already have enough problems, its chances of success are now under further threat thanks to Team Ninja's recent confirmation that Rise of the Ronin's official PC release date. Oof. The announcement of the development by the developer at the end of January, which is barely under a year of PlayStation 5 exclusivity, thank God. The Blade twins will finally make their leap to Windows on March 11th, 9 days before Shadow's protagonists, Yasuke and Naoi, are set for their own sortie. Thus, with Rise of the Ronin so expertly delivering where Shadows looks poised to fail in regards to their promise of a digital samurai experience, there exists a good chance that positive word of mouth could see a significant amount of prospective assassins choosing to ignore a middling at best mission in favor of actually having fun as a masterless samurai. Yeah, exactly, because that was supposed to be the big selling feature, right? Like, hey, you guys like feudal Japan? Well, hey, Assassin's Creed is going there. It's an established first franchise, but this time around, there's not going to be one that's going to have to, like, there's as we've heard, there's Souls-like aspects to it. It's not a full Souls-like or anything like that. So people that just want to, I don't know, play a game that isn't festooned with other aspects of deleterious modern game design, where it's just, hey, look at that popular thing, we're just basically going to do the exact same thing. I'm so tired of seeing Souls-likes over everything. Like, goddamn it, be creative. And if that's the case with Rise of the Ronin, where they can just go ahead and have a good story, they could have, you know, unique takes on things, they could give you a viable alternative. Oof, if things weren't already tough enough for Ubisoft, it just became impossible. All that said, Rise of the Ronin's PC release comes with a number of major upgrades over the PS5 original, including support for 8K resolutions, 120 FPS, ray tracing, and ultra-wide monitor capability, as well as fully customizable controls, UI upgrades, and improved 3D audio. That's crazy. And one final slash to Shadow's potential success, the PC port will retail for $50. Oh shit, like that right, oh, that's the killer. A full $20 less than Assassin's Creed Shadow's cheapest versions. And yeah, that's also something else that we're going to have to talk about before Assassin's Creed's release, because Ubisoft, they just can't get out of their own way. Okay, Ubisoft is still going to be Ubisoft at the end of the day, and some of their monetization practices, yeah, this shit that got them in big trouble at the beginning of 2024, they're going to continue to try to do with Shadows moving forward, and especially with the in-game currency and the way that they're trying to move on that one. That's very interesting as well. And we've seen the different, you got the deluxe edition, you've got the collector's edition, you got the gold edition, or you could sign up for Ubisoft Connect and only pay $18, and you can just stream the game for a month, which just so happens to coincide for how long we're going to last as a studio after the release of Shadows. But you got all of those different goofy things where you get, you know, hey, trust us, you know, you pre-order it right now and you'll get the first DLC that we're definitely going to deliver on. Oh yeah, 1000%. It's going to be fantastic. So we have all of these promises. You got all of this stuff. You got this early access stuff. You got a fresh skin. You got a new sword. You got throwing stars shaped like dildos for Naomi. It's all going to be fantastic. Just go ahead and shell out $100, $200, $380 for whatever pack we're selling right now. Or you could get a proven product that is filled to the brim with consumer-friendly choices, like Rise of the Ronin, for, oh yeah, less money and better value overall. Oh my god, man. Like, it's crazy. It's hilarious. And Ubisoft, hey man, you did it to yourself, so I can't feel too bad for you. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.